What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wolfpack Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Clevens. Here with me, as always, our two co-hosts, two best friends, Michael Plant and Mike Bonney. What's up, fellas?
What up?
Not much.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it.
How are you guys doing on this beautiful, snowy Friday in Wisconsin?
Great.
Couldn't ask for anything better, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Christmas time, guys. Snow means Christmas. Christmas means snow.
Yeah. It wasn't the nice kind of snow, though. It was the slushy, nasty looking shit. Like, it wasn't bad shoveling my driveway today, but it also didn't make me happy. Didn't put me in the Christmas spirit, Michael Plant. No, it was like two inches, maybe.
It wasn't fluffy snow. It was that hard, really good for snowball fights and snow.
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah, Cooper threw a couple snowballs at me once I picked him up from school today. It was great.
Did you teach him who's boss?
Absolutely. But guys, it's the last week of fantasy football regular season for most leagues, and we had a pretty wild game that kicked us off last night with Baker Mayfield leading a 98-yard game-winning touchdown drive. Not for the Panthers, guys. He plays for the Rams now. As of 2 days ago. He just comes in.
One practice.
It's absolutely crazy. I can't say that I was awake watching it, though. I caught the highlights this morning. I was sleeping on my couch because the rest of the game,
I saw it.
It wasn't quite good. But what's your guys' take? Anything?
I think the Raiders hit the bed.
Yeah,
it was a
Their
great
play calling was bad.
Baker. Oh, big time. I mean, Baker had a interview afterwards, and he was talking about the play where he threw the touchdown to Van Jefferson, and he was just completely shocked that they were in man coverage on that play. Why are you in man coverage on a play where they're looking to score a touchdown? You should be in zone right there.
Didn't the Raiders do that a couple years ago or a year or so ago when they let a huge touchdown?
It was on a Hail Mary. I think they played press coverage on a Hail Mary, and everyone just ran past the quarterback.
Terrible play calling. Terrible coaching.
But before we
using Devontae in the whole second half, stupid.
Very silly, man. But before we get started, please smash that like button. Please subscribe, and then head on over to the fantasy6pack.net/plans and check out our memberships. No better time than now, guys, with the fantasy playoffs approaching. The link's scrolling down on the bottom of the screen, so make sure to join that. You can ask us any questions you want on the Discord at any time of day. Somebody will be there to answer you. I promise.
Unfortunately, I don't sleep well, so if you're up at late at night, I will answer your question.
Just slide right into those DMs. But let's jump right into things, guys. And it's like the NFL really doesn't give a shit about our fantasy teams, guys. Putting 6 teams on a bye in the last week.
Nor should they.
What's going on right now?
They
should. They should. How much money does fantasy football make them? Got to make them a lot.
It's probably the reason why most people watch football.
Let me take a real quick guess. Not nearly as much as the NFL, so let's move forward.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But 6 teams out of bye. We got the Atlanta Falcons. All right, who really cares? But they did name Desmond Ridder the starter coming out of the bye, which is interesting. But tune in next week to check out our what our Atlanta Falcons preview looks like with Desmond Ridder. Then you got the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, New Orleans Saints, and Washington Commanders all on bye this week. Just crazy this late in the season.
A lot of players. Yeah,
with only 2 last week, it doesn't make sense.
I know they should have spread it out. Why didn't they put 1 or 2 more last week?
And 0 the week before.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was nobody had a bye week that week, so they kind of had to stockpile them one more time. But
it is what it is. We make do. We make lemonade with lemons here. And this is why you scour the waiver wire.
Sunday will be an important podcast for you guys.
Hopefully, you guys went to Fantasy Six Pack and checked out that waiver wire article Herm's just released. Go check out his video as well on the YouTube channel. Great info there to help you out. If maybe some guys are still there available, it goes deep. But yeah, this is going to be a fun week where we're just throwing darts, guys. I mean, no Jonathan Taylor, no Aaron Jones. I mean, no Justin Fields. No Christian Watson. He's a hot take. He's a hot wide receiver right now. No Chris Olave, no Kamara, even though he hasn't been very great. So, there's a lot of players out here.
Yeah, Kamara being out might be doing you a favor.
Maybe. It depends on who you're putting in over him.
let's jump into things here with the first game. We got the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. And guys, don't forget, Buffalo lost this game to the Jets earlier this season.
Josh Allen got hurt.
What's that?
It's also where Josh Allen got hurt with the elbow.
Yep. Jumping into the Jets side of things, like, what do you think about Zonovan Knight? That's his name, right?
It is.
Yeah. What do you think about him and his usage moving this week and moving forward?
With Michael Carter now healthy.
Well, with Michael Carter healthy, I'm assuming Michael Carter is going to get most of the carries or work. But Zonovan Knight has been good.
Salah said, though. That's not
Zonovan Knight's been good the past 2 weeks. He's been running back 2 or better in both weeks. Last week he got 100+ yards on the ground. Could be wrong, but we know Michael Carter is better than Zonovan Knight, so he should get the bulk of it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's going to be a split. And then, man, we saw Garrett Wilson get 15 targets with Mike White under center, but he did throw it an absurd amount of times. It was 50 or 60 times, so that number is a little bit skewed. But
you're going to see it again playing the Bills.
Awesome. Let me ask you this. What about Corey Davis? Because he also saw 10 targets. Is that sustainable again, or is that just because of the ridiculous volume that Mike White threw in that game?
I did say he was questionable. So if he plays,
I want to say it was an illness. I want to say that's what it was.
It might be. So you're going to have to look at that. But if he is healthy and ready to go, I'd play him because they're going to have to throw a lot in this offense.
Yeah,
and clearly Elijah Moore is still, I mean, even with Mike White at QB, he's still not.
He's not getting enough snaps either, I don't think, still.
Yeah.
Man, how far do
because they're playing Braxton over him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And
he's more trusted, I guess.
As well. But jumping over to the Bills side of things, Mike, and I guess really the only thing we should talk about, well, I guess there's 2 things, but let me start at the backfield here. James Cook starting to become more and more relevant, just like it seems like
after the bye week, man.
Yeah, and rookies, the later in the season, obviously, the more acclimated they are into their teams, and they start doing more things. And Cook's interesting. What do you think about him this week? It's not a good matchup, but what do you think about him this week?
I mean, it's nice seeing, the production there from Cook, but I mean, if we're being honest here, guys, I mean, pretty much the same snap counts. I mean, Devin Singletary was actually 1.3% more out on the field than James Cook. So James Cook was just being utilized more when he was out on the field, which means, I mean, he's kind of turned into their passing game back. I mean, Singletary did get 2 targets last week, but James Cook was getting 6. I mean,
Singletary gets a goal line though.
The past 3 games, James Cook has a 12.5% target share. It's not the goal line work I was really talking about. It's the PPR work here that I'm talking about with Cook. That's nice and that's appealing. And that you can get by with if you're out an Aaron Jones, you're out a Jonathan Taylor. I think the PPR work is fine with James Cook, but Singletary is the guy in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's the one
you could start him.
We do agree on that. Yeah, James Cook is a viable starter in deep release. 12 teams.
It's just PPR leagues. Half PPR, it does make it more. Yeah.
Standard, don't even think about it.
And then with 6 teams out of bye this week, guys, Mike, is this the week that Gabe Davis might need to find your benches if you can afford it?
No, I mean,
it's not a good matchup.
Well,
it is not.
DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner on the outside, they're really good, both of them. And this last matchup, Diggs was okay. He was solid, but Gabe Dave really had a bad day. I think he caught 2 balls for 30 yards or something.
I mean, just for example, guys, I mean, you could be choosing between Deontay Johnson or Gabe Davis this week with the buys. I mean, who are you playing? I mean, are you going to feel like an idiot? Yeah, exactly. You're going to feel like an idiot for benching Gabe Davis for Deontay Johnson. I mean, there are not many other options we can afford to play over Gabe Davis. That's the thing. So you kind of just got to play the matchup, and hope he gets that 1 catch for 80 yards, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yep. Just temper expectations. Odds are that it's not going to be a big, good week for Gabe Davis. 10 to 15
he always
seconds
has a potential break one deep, though.
Yeah. 10 to 15 seconds on it. Isaiah McKenzie catching your guys' eye at all as we head into playoffs because he's starting to get utilized a little
deeper.
Bit more in this offense.
12, 14 teamers, yeah. 10 team, though. I mean,
I mean, just 16.7% target share last 3 weeks, still third on the team.
That's
I
right.
mean, it's fine. It's a little bit less than Gabe Davis. Gabe is hovering around 20% at 19.8, but it's Stephon Diggs' game here at 30.2% of a target share for the past.
Yeah, Diggs is going to be fine just because he's going to see the volume, so he's going to be just fine. But
there's only one safe play.
Yep. Jumping into the next game, guys, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm just going to throw this out on the table for both of you guys for the Browns, and it's low-hanging fruit here, guys. It's Deshaun Watson. We were a little weary on him last week on this show, which is good on us, good on you, Michael Plant, for not having him starting over a lot of people on the start-sit show, but it's not a good matchup for him here. But will he be better than what we saw last week, and will the offense be better? Either you take it.
You can't be much worse. So there is really only one way to go. I mean,
better pass rush, though, man.
They didn't score any offensive points, guys, and they still managed to win. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, he's got it. It's only up from here, like LaPlante said.
Exactly.
But what if they don't score any offensive points again, guys? That's, in my eyes, that's going down.
Honestly, I don't see that happening. Offense. I don't know if that's happened 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure it's happened to an NFL team.
It's not going down though. It's being complacent, technically.
But he will have a tough time, man. The Bengals will get to him a lot quicker than the Texans did.
Now, if they give up a safety, then they're minus points. They're giving up points. Then we got a problem here. Then we're going down.
I do think he'll throw a pick, though, again.
Most likely. I mean, Cincinnati's defense has been a lot better than last year. But Deshaun Watson, there's going to be a little bit more chemistry built here. It's not a great matchup.
Cooper might be out.
2 QB leagues, yeah, you can get away with it, but 12 and 10 teamers, you're benching him until you see a lot more progress.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe you do see it this week. Who knows? But I'm not. But what do you guys think about? We thought it was going to be good for Dave Njoku. We thought it was going to be good for Amari Cooper, DPJ.
Oh, when he shakes off the rust.
Okay.
I think we're more looking at next year for them, probably.
Well, I mean, it could still even happen this year, honestly. I mean,
probably in
Watson is
fantasy
a talented
championships,
maybe. Maybe. I mean, maybe the week before. I mean,
fucking Dave.
He's talking to you, like.
Come
on, let the locks flow, man. You're the only.
I don't have any locks anymore, man.
It's like the AT&T towers: lowest, medium, and then tallest, right there.
Yeah.
With our hair, but I mean, it could happen, in a couple of weeks here. But it's going to take multiple weeks for Deshaun Watson to get chemistry again with these guys because it was atrocious. There were throws; the timing was so off. It was like he was late on his throws, and a lot of throws were going into the dirt because of
no power.
Yeah, it was gross.
He wasn't stepping into his throws.
So it's going to take some time to shake all this rust off. I mean, come on, guys. He's human. I mean, throwing aside everything we know about him. Throwing aside everything. He's human. He has emotions just like everybody else. I'm sure he was a little nervous going into this.
It was probably tough for him being back in Houston and everything too. But jumping over
to get that everywhere he goes. He better get used to it.
It was the worst in Houston knew he's going to get, though, I think.
Jumping over to the
Bengals goes to Philly.
Jumping over to the Bengals side of it, guys, I'll just leave this open for the both of you as well. Is Samaje Perine dead with Joe Mixon coming back to practice?
I wouldn't say dead. They are running the ball. Yeah, I mean, desperation flex, I guess, hoping he gets some PPR work because let's be honest, he was getting the PPR work even before Mixon got injured. Yep. So, I mean, they are dead set on his role. It's just
they might take Mixon a little slow.
Yeah, I mean, Mixon is coming on the concussions. I mean, it's not a huge injury, but it is 2 weeks missed of a concussion. You never like to see that. I mean, so he's still got PPR value. It's got a James Cook vibe to it with him just because he's their PPR guy. Joe Mixon is not involved in the passing game as much as Samaje Perine, unfortunately.
Right. And then one more quick question. Tyler Boyd seems to be used a little bit better in the offense when Jamar Chase is in town or back. So I'm curious, do you guys think he might be looked at as a start this week with 6 teams on a bye, or are you guys out on that?
He needs to catch the ball first.
Yeah, that's the only reason the 6 teams on a bye. I mean, it's a good offense. You can it's an offense that we know can support 3 wide receivers on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is it a good day? I mean, it's the Browns defense. I mean, you can run on them better than you can throw on them. So
yeah, this is true. I like the Bengals to have a good day on offense, though, but we'll see. I
hate to break it to you, but Joe Burrow's 0-4 against the Browns.
That's kind of a wild stat.
Yeah, he does not. I mean, he actually does all right against the Browns. He averages, I want to say it was 300 yards, but it wasn't like an amazing touchdown to interception ratio. So
this is Joe's year, so.
I mean, last year was Joe's year. He went to the Super Bowl. I mean,
this is true.
But it is one of those things. Can he finally get over the hump of beating the Browns?
Did you guys see him mock Patrick Mahomes, by the way, after?
No, I did not.
You know how Mahomes always does like this weird thing with his fingers all the time? Like he'll throw both up all the time. Burrow, after they sealed the win, did that, and Mahomes looked at him and smiled on the sideline.
I love it.
It was all over.
Little shit talking.
Yep. It's all past.
That's going to be the quarterback. It's going to be like Brady versus Manning, probably. Not on that level, obviously, but close to.
Right. And Dave, we love you too, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I questionably love you.
Well, the next game we got here, guys, the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. Davis General Mills is back as the starting quarterback, so the Kyle Allen experiment that lasted 2 weeks is no longer, guys.
Stupid.
The only thing we really need to talk about here.
It wasn't stupid for all those teams that got to play the defenses against Kyle Allen. They had a blast.
Yes, they did. I guess there's 2 things right here. Do we like Dameon Pierce as much as we can in this matchup? It's probably a bad game script, but Dallas can be ran on, or is this going to be just another one of those weeks where Pierce is just fine, 8 to 10 points?
It's not great. He hasn't been doing great as of, lately.
Yeah, last week was like 9 to 10 PPR points.
And
that was better. That was better. The best he's done in 3 weeks, for sure.
I was going to say that was better than the previous 2 weeks combined.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see it. Best case scenario, maybe getting 10, 12 points if he gets a touchdown. That's the thing. Here's the ceiling. He's got to get a touchdown. If he doesn't get the touchdown, he's not getting the PPR work. It's a very solid floor of about 8 points for you. Congratulations. It's not going to win you anything.
I think the Cowboys defense is going to massacre.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick. But before we jump in over to the Cowboys, let me just ask you one more thing. Nico Collins, I think he definitely deserves to be rostered, but can he be started this week?
He's out. Him and Brandon Cooks are both going to roll out.
Why is Nico Collins out? That's not good.
Oh, my gosh. You're going to make me look. I can't.
Chris Moore season, bro.
I was just going to say Chris Moore to the moon. Let's go. Come on.
You're not playing
him. We should start him in the one league we have.
100% going to have to with the way that league has just turned into an absolute fucking nightmare.
Imagine, like this is if you are just ravaged by injuries, you got 6 teams on bye. Okay, you can get away with playing a Samaje P right at and be all right with it because you don't have many other options.
Yep. Jumping over to the Cowboys side of things, guys. You could start Dak. He's startable. Temper expectations because this game could get blown out very quickly. CD Lamb's going to get his because that's what he's going to do. But I'm honestly worried about the other pass catchers in this offense this week. Ike, do you agree with that? Dalton Schultz, Michael Gallup. You're trying not to start them if possible. I mean, you're probably starting Dalton Schultz because it's a nightmare over there at tight end. But
it's the Texans, so they're probably going to want to run all over them.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot of Zeke and a lot of Tony Pollard, so they're must-starts. CD is the only one you should probably be starting from the wide receivers, and pretty much because tight end is a wasteland, you have to start Dalton, unless you got a better option.
Yep, and if you have Pollard and Zeke both on a team, you're definitely 100% can start. I would. They could. There's a high probability that they're both going to find their way into the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you What do you got to say, Mike?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up. I was just looking for the Nico Collins injury. All I can find is he was ruled out. No designation of a foot.
That
need
disappoints me
any-
now a little bit, man, to be honest with you, because he's starting to get used more. He's starting to show a little bit more talent. Like maybe, like if you're in dynasty leagues, guys, maybe try to get him on the cheap. Especially if they're going to have a new
trade
quarterback
deadline's
in
over
town
first,
next year.
Yeah, a lot of people trade deadlines over.
Hopefully, dynasty season you don't have a deadline. Hopefully, but I know for sure some leagues do.
I mean, once the season ends, then it opens up to trade.
Yeah.
There is a trade deadline during the regular season.
Yeah, but
what is this, a fantasy? Still football.
Football. Next game, guys, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions, who are favored by 1.5 in this one against the 9-2 Minnesota Vikings or whatever.
Vegas knows something we don't, boys.
I think we all know, though. I think we all know that Minnesota's they're fine. They're fine.
They're the falsest 8-3 or whatever they are.
Lies.
What are they?
They're 10-2. Minnesota's 10-2.
There's
all
a
right?
good chance. There's
the
a good chance.
Steelers a couple years ago were the
This is
falsest 10-2. If they were, I think they were actually 10-1 at one point.
I can see the
Whatever.
Vikings losing to the Buccaneers in divisional round playoffs.
I was literally just about to say that. I can't believe that. I was literally just thinking the same thing. That's awesome. They're gonna lose to that shit Bucks team. That's what's gonna happen. Stamp it.
Just garbage.
But how are we starting Kirk Cousins in this matchup? How do we feel? Let me kick it to you. Ike, you're shaking your head. Yes. Where do you have him ranked this week? You're gonna have your rankings pulled up. Where's he at?
Top 8. Don't have him completely pulled up.
He does not have him pulled up. He never has
Him
him
and
pulled up.
Goff should be started, to be honest.
You should feel more confident in Gabe Davis booming than Ike having his rankings being pulled up.
We'll play it.
This is true.
We'll play you like Goff or Cousins better in this matchup. Just kill.
I mean, the way the Lions
6-8.
competed.
I have him at
So
Cousins
the Lions
and
competed
Goof.
a lot more. I mean, so I think the higher ceiling here is Goff. I mean, the higher ceiling is Kirk because of the weapons, but the higher floor is Goff because of the amount of times they're going to have to throw.
Yeah.
To keep up with the Vikings.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of those Vikings weapons, man, Justin Jefferson was shut down the last time he played the Lions, wasn't he? Pull up his stats for me. I want to say he.
I thought you were going to say last week, to be honest.
No.
He had catches, but not for many yards.
I think he had like 3 catches for 14 yards. If I'm
No,
not
it was like
mistaken.
8 for 60.
Let's see it, Mike. Pull it up.
Last time they played Lions or last
Do
week?
you remember what week it was?
No, I don't. Last time.
Last time they played Lions.
Yes. No, last week, you're right, Ike. He did have a lot of catches. He didn't have a lot of yards.
He had a touchdown, too.
Where's he at? This is
I'm gonna have to go to the good old I'm gonna have to go to the good old fantasy app here.
Good God, I'm gonna beat both of you.
No, I'm almost there.
Nope, I'm there.
Almost there. He was caught 3 targets for. We could have just went with what I said. He caught 3 balls for 14 yards. So there it is. Are we freaking out about Justin Jefferson this week now?
No.
Michael Plant, I'm looking at you.
I know you are. I can feel the gaze.
Freaking win this week. Are you worried about Justin Jefferson? Obviously, we're starting him. I know.
No, I mean, 2 consecutive weeks of 11 targets.
Probably the most consistent receiver in football. I would not be worried.
I mean, a target share is. It's skewed statistics with a target share, but 27.6. I mean, if I look that up, I bet you that's top 5.
No, it might not be. There's like 4 guys at 30.
Past 3 games. Yeah, that's fair. He's actually top 10.
Devontae's at 30 and like 4 other.
Wow, man, Drake London killing it the past 3 games. Has a 33.3% target share in that offense, but they don't throw it a lot.
Because they throw it 20 times and he gets like.
It's because last week he had 12 targets.
Yeah.
But Justin Jefferson still top 10. He has a 31% target share the past 3 games. I mean, the whole year it's 29. I mean, the volume is just so sustainable. I mean, the only thing is I'm questionable about maybe a touchdown because he might not need to score a touchdown. But I look at this as a game like maybe the Packers in the first week where I think he's going to eat with the yards. I just don't know if he's going to score.
You think
I think it's going to be high scoring.
You think Minnesota's going to handle this game, huh? Pretty good, Mike?
I think it's going to be high scoring, just like Ike said. I think it'll be high scoring. I mean, it's divisional game, but the Lions at home give up a lot of points. On the
Jameson
road,
Williams his first touchdown too. Calling it.
You calling it?
Well, let's talk about the Lions then real quick. Jameson Williams is back. Well, not back. He's going to make his season debut after the ACL injury he had.
He made it last week.
Obviously, put him on your bench and just see what's going on. I'm assuming he's going to be on a pitch count, right around 20 snaps or so. But what do you guys think about the other options in this offense? Mainly, let's go into the DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams talk like we do every freaking week. But we have to talk about it because it's the most relevant news in this offense on a weekly basis. And Swift last week, it looked like the Swiftie of old a little bit. Ike, are you super excited about it now, or are you still tempering expectations moving forward in this matchup?
I don't like it
What do you
because you
think?
never
Don't
know
assume.
who's going to do what each week. But I'm leaning Swift over Williams.
The rest of the season, huh? And
Yeah.
this week? Right on. Michael Plant,
Swift
what do you
is
think?
more dynamic. Williams is more
Definitely.
ground and pound, get in the end zone if you can.
I mean, last week we did see DeAndre Swift take more snaps away from Jamal Williams, 51% compared to 30 for Jamal Williams. So it's kind of a changing of the guard there a little bit. Now, granted, it was against Jacksonville. They were killing them. This is a one-game sample size, really. I mean, 2-game sample size, I guess, if you want to call the first week of the season. He had a higher snap percentage as well. I don't want to, fully dive in and say, oh, yeah, DeAndre Swift's a league winner. But it is pointing in the right direction. It's just we need to see it a little bit more because this is only really 2 or 3 games now where he's had a higher snap percentage than Jamal Williams.
Yep, right on. Next game here, guys, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. Man, the Eagles offense looked like it was back at it last week. They were really good.
AJ Brown was a beast
in their revenge game. Jalen Hurts, guys, really good. Fantasy football-wise and normal football.
Top 4 MVP.
Yeah, he's had a very solid season, but we talk about it every week. Michael Platt, I'll kick this to you. Miles Sanders, do we like him in this matchup?
I mean, yeah, just because this is a high octane offense that get in the red zone. Really, it's the main thing is he's not getting used in the passing game. I'll go look at the targets here real quick for him, but he gets used in the red zone. That's the nice thing. It's just there's not much red zone work to go around here because Jalen Hurts takes it away. The big thing is I mean, he actually did get 3 targets 2 weeks ago, 2 targets last week. So again, not a lot, but I mean, there's not a lot of targets going around for the running backs at all. So I mean, really, that's not a huge problem. It's the red zone work here. So if he's not getting the red zone work, I mean, then I'm benching him. But it's a good matchup, I think, against the Giants. All right, this offense is on fire. I think this is one of those possible games where he could have the multiple touchdowns, against the Packers. But also, don't be surprised if he doesn't get any touchdowns at all, because this is Miles Sanders, guys. We're in week 14. This is who he is. We know who he is. He does not, he's the early down back and sometimes the red zone back, because Jalen Hurts is the every down back essentially for the Eagles.
Yeah, it also just depends on what running back's in the game for the Eagles when they're in the red zone too. They're not just going to bring someone in just to, But yeah, I agree with you. There. You're starting AJ Brown, obviously. You're starting Devonta Smith. Jumping over the Giants side of things, Saquon bit slowed down the last few weeks, but the Eagles, if you can attack them somewhere, it's on the ground mostly. It has been a little bit better recently
with the additions of Ndamukong Suh and Dalvin Tomlinson, I think it was.
Linval Joseph.
Right? Thank you. I can never remember his name.
Yeah. But I guess we got to talk about Darius Slayton and is his output sustainable, and do we like him in this matchup, Ike? I see I'm piquing your interest.
Against the Eagles, I'd probably temper your expectations a little bit. But like you said, there's a lot of teams on bye, so you might be forced to start him, and I wouldn't be as scared about it as maybe like you were 6 weeks ago.
Agreed.
He's clearly the number one option.
And he's a big play guy, too, which is...
He is. He always finds a way to catch a deep pass.
He can pop off at any times, and I kind of like him, too. And with bye weeks and everything, I think he's a wide receiver 3, and you just kind of got to deal with it.
Must be rostered, so pick him up if he's out there somehow. And if you have to, you can start him, like you said, wide receiver 3 or flex.
Yep. Next game we got here, the Tyler Huntley-led Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson's out 1 to 3 weeks with a
Doubtful.
PCL sprain. Excuse me, yes.
Nice, I nailed that, bro. Nailed that on the injury. Said 1 to, I think I actually said 1+ weeks, which is kind of cheating, but hey. He missed a week.
1+ week.
Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. What do we expect this offense to look like with Tyler Huntley under center? We saw last year Mark Andrews did feast with him under center. So I guess you still feel all right about Andrews as well as you could feel because he's kind of just been But everybody else in this offense and then Tyler Huntley himself, what do you guys think?
None of them should be started except for Mark Andrews. I'm sorry. They look terrible with Lamar. What makes you think they're going to look better with Tyler Huntley?
You're
Unless
out on
you
the
think
running
Huntley's
backs,
better
too.
than Lamar. I don't either. So
If J.K. Dobbins comes back healthy, then it's just going to muddle up the backfield even more because he has been progressing towards coming off that IR. He was close last week. He's even closer this week. So, I mean, really, the running backs, like I said, they're not dependable right now. I mean, yeah, if you got to throw a warm body in a running back spot. I mean, if you have Gus Edwards, I guess you could throw him in there because there's not many options out there on the waiver wire, I'm sure. But you really want to avoid it. And the only safe option in this offense is Mark Andrews and I guess Tyler Huntley because of his rushing floor. He's got a good matchup against the Steelers. They allow the second most points to wide receivers and their top 5 allowing points to QBs. So it gives him a little bit of a ceiling with the passing floor.
do you think he could be a league winner?
I don't know because Lamar Jackson is.
If Lamar misses 3 weeks, like what they say, he has to. I mean, he could get you through the first round at least. I don't think he is. I think he.
I don't think he's a league winner, but he's got a great matchup this week. He's got a great floor because of the amount of times he rushes the ball. I mean, that's what makes him a league winner is if he has good matchups. But he has a solid floor. He's not going to lose you any weeks because of the amount of times he runs the ball. That's the thing.
Sure.
He's just probably not going to win you many weeks after this week.
I don't know if I love the matchup that much either, Mike, with TJ Watt back, Minka Fitzpatrick doing his things. I don't think you really want to start him, to be honest with you. Like, I would rather start Jared Goff. I think I would rather start Kirk Cousins.
I agree.
But let me ask you
last week the Steelers played Marcus Mariota, and they were good against a quarterback. But when they've played good quarterbacks, they are not good against them.
Sure, but Tyler
Huntley's not good.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Mariota is better than Tyler Huntley.
But it's the fact that they allow somebody.
Tyler.
they just
You're going to go Tyler Huntley over Marcus Mariota? What the fuck is Tyler Huntley for?
You could probably talk me into it, maybe.
No,
I mean, Marcus Mariota don't play this week, guys. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. But, I mean, I would probably choose Tyler Huntley this week.
God damn.
And then the running back, let's just touch on the running backs for 15 seconds. Would you rather start either of the running backs not named J.K. Dobbins? He's not in. Would you start either of the running backs over James Cook this week?
No.
Not over James Cook, no.
Okay.
No.
You'd rather
Samaje Perine, that's where you're getting more into that range, I guess, where it's kind of like a toss-up either way. And I guess I would still leave Perine even, but it makes it a little bit more debatable.
Yeah. Jumping over to the Steelers side of things, Pickett's not quite fantasy relevant yet. He's not turning the ball over, but he's also not scoring a lot of touchdowns.
You saw that too, right? He hasn't thrown a pick in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 188 attempts.
Yeah, but he's only thrown 2 touchdowns in that span too. But Najee Harris is healthy, good to go from the sounds of it. Let's talk pass catchers, guys. I should have Deontay Johnson every week. I'm not going to do it this week. I'm going to leave that up to you. But George Pickens disappointed last week. Disappointed me as well. I didn't play him, but I don't like seeing 0 catches on my bench. And he's pissed off about it too. Like, dude, you're a rookie. Relax a little bit. Like, he's already super pissed off they're not giving him the ball. So this is the stuff.
He has a diva problem.
Yes, I was going to say, this is the stuff that made him slide in the draft that teams were kind of like, yeah, maybe this guy's an asshole.
Bingo.
But what are your guys' thoughts on him? So with him bitching and moaning, is this one of those weeks where they force feed him the ball? Do you like?
No, he got that thing in Madden where it's like, you're a rookie, just sit down, bro.
Just sit down. I mean, it's hard to start anybody from this offense consistently.
It's Najee's offense, if that's what you want to call it.
If you want to call it that.
Because he's the one that gets the most work.
I hate to say it, but I mean, Deontay Johnson sucks, but the volume, I guess, because of the Mageddon.
I wouldn't say he sucks.
No, he does. With Kenny Pickett, he sucks. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
I think Kenny Pickett sucks. I think Deontay Johnson's good.
He hasn't finished as a top 36 receiver, I think it is, and like.
But is that his fault?
I mean, not all his fault. I understand that.
How many times has he been targeting the red zone? Like twice?
Come on, guys. It's the expected fantasy points you got to keep waiting for to come back down to earth.
If you're into that.
If you're into that.
I mean, it's just it's the sheer amount of volume. Like, if you look at last week, George Pickens didn't have a catch. He only got targeted twice because Deontay got targeted 11 times. Then the week before that, Deontay out-targeted him again, 8-6. I mean, not as much of a discrepancy, but there's a theme here. Deontay Johnson just gets more targets than anybody else. And
just really bad targets.
Just really bad targets,
Pickens is usually better than him with the lower amount of targets. Just he didn't get enough.
No, Pickett is. I mean, Pickens is more boomer bust. Deontay Johnson, I guess,
Definitely.
is what you can call safer. But there's not many safe plays from this offense.
It's just bust, yeah. It's just 6 to 8
points for 10 points. If you want 10 points, go for it.
10 points.
Yeah. If you want 8 to 10.
Some people just need 10 points. Like Michael Platt needed just 10 points in Scott Fishbowl, and he blew it.
Yeah. Shots fired from Pew. Jumping into the next game, guys. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Trevor Lawrence questionable in this one after that weird looking knee injury last week, but apparently he was okay because he continued to play. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on Travis Etienne in a tough matchup against Tennessee here. And Etienne's coming up. He injured his foot obviously 2 weeks ago, and then last week he had 9 fantasy points, I want to say, in PPR formats, but he also fumbled, which that kind of seems to be a little bit of a trend with him, that he might put the ball on the ground here and there. What are your guys' thoughts on him this week?
Not great, especially with Trevor Lawrence possibly not being able to play. I mean, he has a toe injury, I believe I remember seeing, along with that knee injury, which for some reason, I don't know how he came back after that. But, I mean, Tennessee's good at stopping the run. I mean, if he gets a little bit more involved, I just don't have much faith in this game. This is going to be a slog it out. I think Jacksonville is going to slump down to Tennessee's level and try to run the ball as much as them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So I'm not really a fan of this game for fantasy purposes. But with 6 teams on bye, I mean, you have no choice, like I stated earlier. So you got to start them, but you're tempering expectations really for everyone in this matchup. Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne. I mean, I kind of like Kirk, Mike, to be honest with you, because of the matchup. Tennessee's been beaten up through the air. It's just with Trevor Lawrence, though. Yeah. I
think it's just what Doug Pearson's going to do. Like LaPlante said, I think he's going to run a lot for some reason.
Sure.
Yeah, Doug Peterson likes to mix it up with his game plans. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of tempering expectations on Derrick Henry a little bit. It is a good matchup here, but it wouldn't be the first time we've seen Derrick Henry fail on a good matchup. So, I mean, you can't start Treylon Burks. He's out. You're not starting Robert Woods, are you? I mean, maybe you can start Chioziem Okonkwo. I believe I said his name correct.
Okonkwo.
That's what it is. Okonkwo. Yeah. But he's been pretty good as of recently, especially if Treylon Burks is going to be out. He's better looking than Robert Woods to the eye test, and he's getting sufficient.
You like Robert Woods, eh? Okay.
No, I did not.
Like the way he looks?
How are you interpreting that as me liking Robert Woods?
I don't think anybody should be started from that team except for Derrick Henry.
You can get away with it
for sure.
You can get away with an Okonkwo start, I think, because of, like you said, the tight end is so bad. It's a dart throw.
Big play every week, man.
So it's a dart throw.
He takes it to the house. I do like Henry in this matchup, guys. He has 6 career games over 200 yards, 4 against Houston, and you know who the other 2 are against?
Probably
Jacksonville.
Yeah. So maybe he has another big game this week because, guys, this is Derrick Henry time kind of right now. December, this is where he's carried you to fantasy championships before. And Mike, I know you're hoping for that. Maybe that is the start this week
because Titans to the playoffs.
He hasn't been very good recently. He's had okay weeks, but like last week he was stuffed. He didn't.
Titans literally don't need to do anything though. They have the NFC South so locked up. Why waste Derrick Henry's health?
I hear you.
For the playoff run against Jacksonville.
But if they don't use him, like they might lose because
they can lose the rest of the season and still make it in. I think.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Who's second in their division? Colts by like 3 games.
Yeah.
Colts don't skip. Yeah,
I hear you.
I mean, the way the NFC South is with the Tampa Bay Bucks leading it, and they're below 500, it is very possible.
It's fair.
This is true, guys.
Well, they're 500 now.
Oh yeah, after that win.
It only took to week 14, guys.
Next game, guys. Let's just go through this one probably pretty quick. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs, you're starting Mahomes, you're starting Travis Kelce, you're starting Juju Pacheco, you're starting as well. But your tempered expectations for these guys because Denver's offense is very good. Or defense, I'm sorry, is very good. Their offense is the complete daughter op. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Their offense is the complete utter opposite because their offense is shit, guys. You're not starting Russell Wilson. You're not.
Nah, I mean, I heard you say their offense was the best.
Courtland Sutton's out, I think.
You're probably not.
Courtland Sutton is doubtful.
Okay, then we're hammering Jerry Jeudy. Let's go, right? Jerry Jeudy to the moon.
I would start Dulcich.
This week is all right. I think Dulcich, Kendall Hinton in a desperation dart throw just because you have Jeudy.
No, I'd rather sleep on nails.
I mean, you'd rather sleep on nails than start anybody from this offense. Let's be honest. Like, I mean, six teams on bye. You got to do what you got to do.
Jerry Jeudy to the moon for 11 points.
You have you have 5-6 people that are injured. You know, you're dealing with just some garbage over there. Yeah, fuck it.
I'd rather just say, you know what? I lost. I'm out of the playoffs. I'm not playing this idiot. I don't want to see a 0.
Don't listen to the quitter.
This game's gonna be gross. I can see Kansas City winning this game 24-3, and the only people being fantasy relevant.
I can see it being a kickers.
Brandon McManus is a must start.
Yes. Fuck yes. Next game, guys. This game even is a little suspect as well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and at the San Francisco 49ers. Suspect without Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, but Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy there. So let's just stay on the 49ers then. Open-ended question. What do we expect from all these guys? Who takes the biggest hit with Jimmy not around now and Purdy at quarterback, guys?
I say
Everyone. I mean, literally everyone, because Jimmy G was a good distributor of the football. Brock Purdy, he's going to make some mistakes, man. He's Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, he did look good. Don't get me wrong. He did look good. Fred Warner came out and said that he is confident in him, Fred Warner's a smart all-pro linebacker, and if he's coming out and saying Brock Purdy, he's confident with him as the quarterback rolling forward, it gives me a little bit more confidence in his capability of it. But fantasy-wise, everyone's taking a hit. CMC
kind of wish they went Baker.
Yeah, it would have been smart. I mean, but they didn't want to pay it. I don't blame them.
I didn't think Baker would be able to do that, but
now they're kind of biting themselves in the ass, if you ask me, watching that.
It was probably a flash in the pan, guys. But hopefully, I'm rooting for Baker. Hopefully he finishes out the season strong, and maybe he gets another starting opportunity in a situation next year.
What stopped him from being a Rams starter? Stafford has that style contusion.
Yeah,
he might retire possibly. I mean,
concussions and issues and stuff like that. Yeah, so maybe it is.
And Sean McVay is the one guy I believe that can get the best out of Baker.
He'll make him be fine. He got the best out of Jared Goff the first couple of years until he got to the Super Bowl, and then it was over.
Here's the thing. Sean McVay's also contemplated retirement, though, as well.
That's true. Same with Aaron Donald.
But they said, Amazon signed Al Michaels to that big deal, man. Maybe they can't afford to give Sean McVay the money now.
Don't tell me Jeff Bezos can't afford anything. That buy the planet if he wanted.
They would probably just cut and fire Kirk Herbstreit and just put McVay right next to him.
I should go back to the Bucs game, though.
I feel bad for Herbie if that happens.
But yeah, I think
CMC's the safest one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ike. I think it hurts Ayuk because he was kind of the best route runner on the team. I'll go ahead and say it. Like
I think
Debo's
he is
kind of the
still.
short and intermediate guy. Yeah, and he is. And I think this hurts Ayuk and his catchability down the field.
Just because they're going to run more, I think.
Maybe we see a little bit more design plays for Debo Samuel.
That's a yes. Yep. And dink and dump with Debo and dink and dunk with fucking Christian McCaffrey. I think those guys are going to be okay. I don't like George Kittle and I don't like Brandon Ayuk.
Realistically,
we'll see this week. Maybe they'll get Ayuk involved because they know he's one of the top guys on the team.
Yeah,
but it cuts the ceiling big time for all these guys. But I mean,
let's drop. Go ahead, Mike.
That's it. I was just gonna say that's really it just makes CMC the only safe one to play.
Agreed.
Let's jump into the Bucs now because this might take a minute. Chris Godwin, you're starting. Brady, you probably don't want to start in this matchup if you can help it. Like I'm probably leaning Goff and Cousins. I know he keeps saying those two names. I would probably start them over Brady. I think
Brady or Watson.
Watson.
I'm gonna go Brady there.
Really?
Yeah, Watson. You got to show me now, man. I'm sorry. You did.
I haven't seen what Brady's done against the 49ers. I don't know when's the last time he played them.
I'm not sure either, to be honest.
But that defensive line is ferocious. It might get to Brady quick. But Brady's the GOAT. He does crazy shit all the time, so you never know. He might let the 49ers up because he wants to.
Be completely shit for 58 minutes of the game and then be mad.
And then turn into what everyone thinks he is, which is just – what I don't understand for the Bucs is – why don't they run that kind of shit all the time? Like, obviously, they're the better offense, a really good team.
Because
when
the
Brady's
defense
on
isn't giving that.
Going fast.
The defense is not giving them that look all the time because when they're up and the other team is trying to score, they're playing a passive zone, keep everything in front of them defense, and Tom Brady could pick apart that zone. They're not running that defense the entire game.
But if you put them in that no huddle offense, they're going to have to.
I get
the same guys on the field, and Brady's going to just pick you apart.
Yeah. I understand that, but you think everybody can just run? It's not Chip Kelly. We can't run that offense.
Yeah, can NFL. Brady at 45 years old? Can he keep up the tempo the entire game? I'm going to go.
By now, Brady, I feel like can do anything.
No, but here's the thing.
He can jump off the Empire State Building and live. Fuck it.
It's Brady over Watson still, and here's the thing. Houston, all right, we know, they're not very great at defending the QBs, but we know San Fran is. They held Tua to 11 points last week. A decent quarterback that's been on fire as of late.
Tua's been better than Brady.
Yeah. All right, yes, I'll give you that. But Houston allowed even less points to Deshaun Watson last week than San Fran allowed to Tua.
Houston's been sneakily good against quarterbacks, though.
But it was Deshaun Watson.
Because you don't have to do much against him, but...
Exactly. So it's still Brady slightly over Watson, but if Watson shows a little bit more upside, then I can understand why moving forward.
Yeah. But we need to touch on the backfield here as well. Rachaad White, Leonard Fournette.
Unfortunately, both are playable.
Practice Friday.
Both are playable if healthy.
Fournette didn't practice Friday.
The problem is you don't want to play him because of this matchup. You can't run the ball on San Francisco either.
That's not the reason you're playing them.
You're going to get a lot of shit ton of PPR work, I guess. That's probably
that's why because
from who though?
15 combined total targets to the running backs last week. 8 to Fournette, 7 to Fournette, 8 to White. And one was the game-winning touchdown.
Both, but I still don't. I don't like it, man.
It's not fun having them both. I'm glad I have Pacheco.
Yeah. Man,
but I mean, you can honestly, I think you can get away with it because the last 3 games, Rachaad White has a 17.9% target share. I mean, he's involved in the passing game enough. And when Leonard Fournette is on the field, he's involved in the passing game as well.
Basically Godwin and White and Fournette. Evans has been shuffled out.
Yeah, let's talk about Evans.
It's because this offense doesn't run the offense doesn't run the ball. This is a pass-first offense, and they're dumping it off to the running backs as their running game.
Pass-first offense that doesn't throw deep well. So that makes Mike Evans irrelevant.
I mean, it's hard. See, here's the thing. If you know Tom Brady as well as I know Tom Brady, he's really good at play action. All right, you got to run the ball for play action. Otherwise, you're not fooling the defense into play action, which means you're going to have a defender in your face for all those deep shots that he likes to take on play action. So it's not going to be very good attempts overall if they can't run the ball. So this is going to be a dink and dunk offense. Which
it's like a spread offense where a lot inside, like Godwin. That's why Godwin's so good right now.
it cuts Mike Evans' ceiling big time. You still got to play Mike Evans, unfortunately. I mean, you're not, compared to like Mike Evans or Deontay Johnson, you're still starting Mike Evans. I mean, yeah, I'm still starting Mike Evans. Better offense. All right. But the thing is it is more Chris Godwin's offense when it's a spread offense like this. When they take more deep shots, then Mike Evans gets a little bit more involved and has these boom weeks. But, I mean, unless he gets a touchdown, he's going to be very erratic and boomer bust.
This might be a week for Mike Evans because I did hear that it's really tough for quarterbacks in the middle against the 49ers because Fred Warner is patrolling there, and their corners aren't great, so you could beat the corners on the outside. So maybe Evans could show.
But he's got to catch the deep ball, too.
Yeah.
We've seen him not do that in weeks past, but we got to move on, guys, to our next one. We
A
got
lot
the
of weeks past.
Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks, and this one's going to be quick and easy. You're starting DJ Moore reluctantly with Sam Darnold at quarterback,
Every
right?
week.
It's Darnold over PJ Walker, correct?
Yes.
And then Deontay Foreman is a little banged up, but it sounds like
He
he's
is going to play.
Yep.
Yes.
And
He's off the injury.
he's startable. He's startable in this matchup. Jumping over to Seattle side of things, guys. You can start Geno. Low end QB.
He was injured, but he's good to go.
He's fine. You can start Tyler Lockett. You're starting DK Metcalf. Let me ask you here about Noah Fant because he has been a little bit more relevant here recently. Like, is he sliding up into your top 12 tight end rankings, or is he looking still on the outside looking in?
Top 15. No chance he's making top 12.
No chance,
Not a lot of
What do you
volume
think, Mike?
here, but with the Ken Walker injury, I don't think, and the injury to Travis Homer, and basically every one of their running backs.
Homer should be. He practiced.
DJ Dallas. Yeah, Homer's good to go. It's Dallas who's struggling.
Still injured. But the thing here is I don't know if they can run the ball as much as they want to.
Make DJ Mark.
DJ.
I love it. Maybe next year, Davis. Maybe next year.
Only Sam Darnold can. Only Sam Darnold can. Or PJ Walker, I guess. But, I mean, I do think that Noah Fant, you could probably get away with starting him because the tight end landscape is so bad with Ken Walker out.
I thought about it.
But if Ken Walker is back the next week, then Noah Fant's going to be the same boomer bust tight end. The nice thing is here is, I mean, the whole thing about tight ends is you're looking for one on a good offense. This is somewhat of a good offense, guys.
I just don't like that they use multiple other tight ends all the time. Like Will Dissly.
Will Dissly he's
Colby
questionable
Parkinson.
as well.
Yeah.
If Will Dissly's out, Noah Fant should probably be moved up significantly. But as of right now,
Sure.
he's going to be splitting time with Will.
Next game, guys, we got Sunday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins at the
Got
Los
flexed the
Angeles
Sunday
Chargers. Yes, we talked
They
about
flexed the Broncos out of it, thankfully.
Thank God, finally.
Let's go. We talked about Tua a little bit earlier against the 49ers last week, just 11 fantasy points. Much better matchup here against the
All on one play, pretty much, by the way.
Yeah, the long touchdown early in the game for sure.
To Sherfield.
Tua's a no doubt set it and forget it starter this week, top 5 guy. But I guess, Mike's, let's talk about Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. And what the hell did we watch last week? Jeff Wilson gets 1 carry, Raheem Mostert gets 7. Do we just not have a clue on what we're
No, it's the high end, I guess. Neither of them get PPR work, so
it was a
honestly,
great matchup. I mean, not great matchup, hard matchup. So it was the hot hand procedure with Mike.
So honestly, they're dart throws now.
Well, I wouldn't say that because this is a great matchup where I think you can get away starting both Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. Chargers are not great at stopping the run, guys. Last week they were 12th allowing against the Raiders, and on the year they are the 4th best at allowing the most points to running backs. So you can run against the Chargers.
4th worst.
Fourth
or you can
best
say
to run on.
most and allowed yards to running backs. Either way, but
well, no, it's not yards. I'm looking at fantasy points. Why do I look at yards? It's fantasy points.
I don't know why I said yards.
If you got Jeff Wilson, you're probably starting him this week. I don't really feel comfortable starting Raheem Mostert, to be honest with you. But
I don't like either.
With 6 teams on bye, yes.
But Jalen Waddle's on the injury report with that ankle injury. Is Trent Sherfield the thing if Waddle can't go?
I did see Waddle did have a full practice on Friday.
Good, that's good to hear.
Tyreek Hill was questionable with an illness, but Mike McDaniel said the illness did go away, so looks like Trent Sherfield will not be a thing.
Everybody's sick right now.
That's it.
Dylan, they probably are getting what we had.
I'm pretty sick of you, Dylan. I can understand.
You gave it to all them. You gave the sickness to all them people too. Just like
I went to a conference with them the other weekend.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Jumping over the Chargers side of things, you are starting Justin Herbert. You are starting Austin Eckler. I'm going to ask you guys. Are you starting Josh Palmer now with Mike Williams back and Keenan Allen back? Gerald Everett's there as well. Is Josh Palmer still relevant?
Josh Palmer kind of reminds me of Tyler Boyd in this offense if Mike Williams starts. I mean, he's kind of like a dart throw a little bit because he's not going to get the volume he was getting with Mike Williams out.
100%.
That's the thing here. So, I mean, if Mike Williams is playing, you're desperate, very, very desperate. Go ahead and play, Palmer, but I really am trying to pivot off of Palmer with Williams healthy and Keenan Allen healthy.
That's so bad.
Tough start, Davis, guys. I'm so bummed. This week I have -4 that went to Derek Carr.
I would have wanted to just rip it off. Rip it off.
I'm sorry.
Damn, Davis. Pray to the fantasy gods.
Yeah, you're still good, man. You're still good. I'm sending you good vibes your way. The rest of your team's going to show out this week.
I don't think he's got good vibes.
No. Damn it.
Good vibes.
Good.
You'll be all right. Full confidence.
Mike, did you have anything to add with Josh Palmer, or can we just move on to Monday Night Football?
Move on.
You can start Gerald Everett.
You can start Gerald
Reluctantly, yeah. Maybe he gets a catch. That's funny.
Should I start Zach Wilson? Maybe he gets a catch. Hey, man, he's gonna score
you more. He's
gonna score you more points than Derek Carr. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, he will.
But Monday Night Football, guys, we got the New England Patriots at the Arizona Cardinals, guys, and just give me all of the Ramondre Stevenson in this matchup. Can you even start Mac Jones against the Cardinals this week, or are you still shying away from him?
Who the hell would start Mac Jones right now?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm in a must-win this week.
I'm really avoiding everybody from this offense except Ramondre Stevenson.
I would play Hunter Henry only because Cardinals can't stop a tight end to save their life.
Against tight ends. You're starting Hunter Henry this week.
But
I scoured him in every waiver wire that I was
you were going strictly off a matchup, though. There is no past work that is determining this other than the fact that the Cardinals can't stop tight ends.
I'm fully prepared to see Jonnu Smith get most of the tight end work for no apparent reason.
Because we're all in on Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
I've honestly thought about starting Mac Jones over Tom Brady in a must-win game.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you start Tom Brady.
Tom Brady still has a better shot at throwing touchdowns than Mac Jones.
But it's Arizona, guys. But I hear you.
It's Mac Jones.
I haven't put Mac Jones in yet, but it's definitely crossed my mind.
I would suggest not doing that.
Mac Jones or Deshaun Watson?
I'd play Deshaun in a heartbeat.
I think I'd play Mac Jones.
You are fucking high as shit.
You're not taking into the matchup into effect at all, my man.
Yeah,
Arizona's not good.
When was the last time Mac Jones got above 10 fantasy points?
Actually, 2 weeks ago when he threw for a career high.
He proved me wrong. Still.
He beat up it was the Bills pretty good, wasn't it, Mike?
No, it was not the Bills.
Beat up the Bills.
No, it was the Vikings, correct?
Bingo, Vikings. It was on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he had 12.5 fantasy points last week. He had
beat him up. Fucking Florida.
He had
he
had 23 against Minnesota.
Okay.
23 against Minnesota. Yep. So
he had 18 against Baltimore too as well. But yeah, I hear you. How much different it is than Brady right now? I'm gonna pull his stats up.
He hasn't been great. Trust me.
I hate to say that, I'd probably go Mac Jones over Deshaun Watson as well.
Would you go Mac Jones over Tom Brady? Because you guys are looking at me goofy right now, guys. You guys are looking at me goofy, and I'm looking at ECR on Fantasy Pros right now. Brady's 17, Mac Jones is 18.
I'd rather literally swim with sharks than play Mac Jones or Tom Brady.
Brady's definitely been safer. 18, 17, 15, 17 the last few weeks. So, yeah, I think
he had 17 against the Saints, which is actually more than his average.
His best since, 2018, probably.
No. He didn't join the Bucs till the 19 season, so it wasn't 2018.
I'll probably end up going with Brady, guys. But why don't we say
it is Brady?
Jacoby Myers, he is startable as well with everybody on bye.
He's questionable with the concussion still. He has not practiced.
Oh, he's not startable then. His head's hurting. Hopefully he's a speedy recovery for him. But jumping over to the Cardinals side of things, do we like Kyler Murray in this matchup?
I do. Bill Belichick can't stop running quarterbacks. We've seen it in the past.
Yep, we agree on that, Michael Plant. I don't like agreeing with you because you're I can't even say the words of the podcast, but but we do agree on this.
It won't offend me.
Is it a clean sweep, Mike?
Been called better by words.
I would probably temper expectations a little bit.
Would you rather start Dak against Houston or
you can't start Dak against I was thinking of Derek Carr.
Dak against Houston or Kyler against New England?
Kyler only because rushing.
Yeah.
But since it's our league, because I know this is our main league.
That's our league, yeah. That's a different story.
It's kind of a wash because I think Dak will get the passing yards, but Kyler will get the rushing yards.
Dak's safer for the touchdowns.
I agree.
So that in our league you go Dak, but in normal leagues you're going Kyler Murray.
Bingo.
Not cool starting James Conner this week against New England. I mean, you might and probably have to.
I was going to say he probably should be started because he's been solid lately.
He's been getting the volume. They've not been using a second running back really very much with James Conner back and healthy. So, I mean, you have DeAndre Hopkins banged up a little bit, Markey. So James Conner is a play this week. It's just I'm tempering expectations against New England's defense because they're
touchdowns in back-to-back games.
Their number one thing is stopping the run.
Yeah.
So you're banking on touchdowns.
Like it. You're right. So he's probably startable. You're definitely tempering expectations. Is Rondale Moore back, or is he still trending downward and not looking very good?
I'm pretty sure I saw he had a limited practice, maybe. If not, I have to look it up.
I doubt he'll be.
With Hopkins back, he's useless.
I disagree with that once he's healthy, but we can talk about that a different day.
Rondale Moore, he's more of a gadget player with those two. But if one of them's out,
he's a slot guy. He's a slot guy too. But yeah, I hear you guys. But that wraps it up. You guys got anything quick to add before I shut this shit down, or are we good to go?
I mean, I think we're good to go. You might as well take us out.
All right, guys.
Old master.
Yeah. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do so on your way out. Please subscribe if you are not ready. We will be back here, guys, next week to help you through your fantasy playoffs. Head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans and check out the memberships so we can help you out in there as well with our award-winning rankings and just the whole Fantasy Six Pack crew over there. Check out our Start Sit live stream that Michael Plant and I do Sunday mornings to help you answer all your lineup needs and to help
this
you
should be
get
a fun
in the
week.
Playoffs if you need to get in. We're here to help. So make sure you join us on that 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time. So be there.
Think of it like a preview of the Discord.
Yes. But for Mike and Ike, I'm Dylan. We'll talk to you guys this weekend and next week.
Peace out.